is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and in this episode we're going to compare two actually fairly premium or high-end juicers on the market. Now this video is not for everybody because these guys are some of the most expensive juicers you guys could buy. So if you guys want to find some less expensive juicers, be sure to check out episodes, our 500 episodes on this YouTube channel comparing and contrasting different juicers so you guys can get the right one for you. And before I go on, I want to let you guys know that if you guys value my videos, have appreciated my work, I've helped you with my videos to select the right juicer, I would encourage you guys to make your purchase at DiscountJuicers.com. This goes directly to support me so I can pay my utility bill, make my mortgage payment, and continue making the videos for you guys. So I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that have purchased from me in the past, and I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that will purchase from me so I can continue my life's mission on teaching people about the power of the fruits and vegetables and how to get more of them into you by some of the best ways possible, including the juicing is what we're talking about today. And we do have a price match policy at Discount Juicers. I would encourage you to spend full price with us so I can continue my work even better. But if you guys want to make sure you get the lowest price, and even if it's like say $5 or whatever, I'm glad to match the lower price. You just fill out the contact form down below with a link to the lower price, delivered price, on any other authorized retailer, and I'm glad to match that. Because I don't want to lose your business, just because of $5 or because of the price. Hopefully you'll appreciate my work and just like, what, I'm going to spend it with John, maybe use a discount code or something. But I want to support him so he could, continue his mission to teach us about the juicers and make the videos, because his videos has helped me so much. And that's the reason why I do these videos. So I hope these videos have helped you guys out. Anyway, without further ado, the two juicers that we'll be comparing today are, number one, the Kuvings EVO820. This is Kuvings' most recent vertical slow juicer with 3.2-inch wide feed chute that has actually a flip-down gate here. Probably the largest feed chute on any home juicer that I'm aware of, and they have the patented technology on the wide feed chute. This is a vertical single auger juicer, so this style machine is basically good at juicing whatever you want to put into it. If you're juicing leafy green vegetables, if you're juicing fruits, if you're juicing, root vegetables, this machine's pretty much going to do a fairly good job at juicing them all. It doesn't really specialize in any one type of produce than others. It could do them all fairly well. Now, if you want to juice a lot of wheatgrass and things, this is not the machine that I would recommend. No, okay, so over on this side we have the Green Star Pro. This is the commercial, commercial certified for the sanitation. If you even have a juice bar or want to start a juice bar, this is the very machine that you could use in your juice bar. So that's a testament to how durable this machine is. It's upgraded. It has 100% stainless steel gears, which is something I like. Now this machine, is definitely better at juicing carrots, than that machine there. It's going to get a higher yield on the root vegetables, as well as, in my opinion, get the highest nutritional quality. So this is the machine that we sell that makes the highest nutritional quality. So if nutritional quality is the most important thing to you, then you're going to want to go with this machine. That being said, the big negative about this machine is the cleaning. It does take a little bit more time, maybe 30 seconds or a minute more than the Kuvings, but you will get a higher yield. So if produce is expensive near you and you're buying only organic and you want to get every last drop out, this is a definitely better machine, in my opinion, based on my testing. Now, this machine does the root vegetables very well. If you want to juice fruits with your other vegetables and root vegetables, this machine will do great. But if you want to juice straight pineapple, this is not the machine for you. That's where you want to juice get the Kuvings, because that'll juice straight pineapples on its own if done properly. But any fruit or vegetable could be juiced in either of these machines if you have a proper rotation. You juice whatever you're juicing, then you put in a carrot. I mean, the carrot is a solution to basically making any juicer work well. It basically unjams high-speed machines. It'll definitely help push the soft pulp through any slow juicer. So remember, I want you guys to juice your carrots and try to find purple ones if you guys are able. This machine will also juice the greens. I mean, it is actually called the Green Star Pro, and that's probably because it juices greens. While it will juice greens, this is not the machine I recommend for juicing straight greens. It tends to create a little bit excess foam than I would like on certain green vegetables. I think I juiced actually like 6 heads of romaine lettuce in this, and actually made very little foam. I was quite impressed. But if you're juicing something like wheatgrass, it makes a whole lot of foam. So it kind of just depends on the leafy green vegetable you're doing. If they're a lot more leafy, like baby spinaches, probably going to make a little bit more foam than if you're juicing, you know, something like, I don't know, the romaine lettuce, for example, because it has that nice center stalk that's more watery, and there's something for the gears inside for it to grab onto so that it doesn't actually put excess oxygen or air into the juice there. Let's see, so we covered fruits, roots, and leafy greens. So yeah, so that's pretty much how it goes. Now these machines, you know, they're about $200 difference in price at present time. I don't mention prices in the video, but if you want to see how much these guys are, check the link down below. The first link in the description, or actually in the description and also in the comments, will be links to these juicers at discountjuicers.com so you can see their current pricing. At present time, the Green Star Pro is $200 more than the EVO820, and for the $200 more, you get a lot more, in my opinion, with the Green Star Pro. Number one, you get a 5-year longer warranty. So the Green Star Pro sports the longest warranty in the juicing industry, 15 years. I mean, imagine if an iPhone had a 15-year warranty. You know, if the machine breaks due to no fault of your own, due to manufacturer's defects, you know, replacement parts or repair or replacement will be covered under warranty. And, you know, likewise on the Kuvings, right? Unlike other juicer brands that might have only a 2-year warranty on some of the juicing parts, right? The Kuvings puts their money where their mouth is, and this whole machine has a 10-year warranty, which is still incredibly, insanely long. So some of these juicers are pretty much the last juicer you guys will ever have to buy. And that's why a juicer is an investment, and it's an investment in the most important thing you guys have. It's your health, right? Not your bank account. You know, it's going to take some money to buy these guys. But I will guarantee you, if you guys use these every day, juice more leafy greens, vegetables, and fruits than you would otherwise have eaten, then the juicer is your best investment, because the fruits and the vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables and especially the purple vegetables, you know, carrots, purple carrots, red cabbage, beets, these are the most healing foods on the planet, based on my research and studies that I've seen, and people just don't eat enough of them. And that's why I like juicing so much, because literally you could put a pound of greens, like we will be doing in just a little bit, and that 1 pound of greens will just, that's a huge salad that many of you guys might not want to eat or be able to eat, will turn into literally 1 cup of juice, where you're getting basically, you're just wringing out all the major nutrients, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants, the vitamins and minerals out of those vegetables to get them into you, so yet you can get the health benefits. You know, there's different kind of therapies out there. You could look these up. Google Gerson therapy. People on, you know, that have cancer and incurable diseases go on this Gerson therapy program where they juice basically carrots and apples, make some other dietary changes, and, you know, from testimonials I've seen, have reversed different disease processes in the body, which is totally amazing. And that is truly the power of the fruits and vegetables, and that's why I sell juicers today, because juicing actually has helped me, and I credit it to one of the things that I've done that has actually helped save my life. I had a complement immune deficiency, which is basically an autoimmune situation, which caused me to get spinal meningitis, which puts me in the hospital, and I almost didn't make it out alive. Luckily, through higher powers, I could say I made that out, made it out alive, so that I could research and figure out what to do so I could be the healthiest. And juicing was one of the first things that I turned to, and I've been basically doing it ever since, right? The cool thing about me making these demos here is that when I'm done making the demo, guess who gets to drink the juice? It's me! I drink it all! So I mean, I would be juicing every day normally, so I'm just having to turn on the camera and then spend a little more time chatting with you guys and share with you guys information about the juicers. So anyways, yeah, the Green Star Pro will make the highest nutritional quality if this is important to you for healing purposes. Although it may take a little bit longer, but we will be timing how long it takes to juice in each of these, and the time it takes to juice depends on the item you're juicing, right? We'll go over the different feed chute sizes. This has a lot larger feed chute, and if you're just juicing straight apples, the Kuvings, by all means, is going to be way faster than this guy with a smaller feed chute. But certain produce items actually might be faster to juice in the Green Star, so it kind of depends on the produce item. But in general, the Kuvings with a wider feed chute probably going to be done a little bit quicker. So, I don't know if I have anything else to say about these two different designs. I will just go ahead and start to take each juicer apart, part by part, explain to you guys how the parts work, what they do, how these juicers are the same, how they're different, and all that good stuff, alright? So, let's start on this side with the Kuvings EVO820. So the Kuvings EVO820 is a vertical slow juicer. Some people might call it a masticating juicer. You know, I just call it a vertical slow juicer because it runs at 60 revolutions per minute. basically you put the produce in the top and they have this drop down feed chute, so you drop a whole apple or a whole tomato in there and it just drops in and then it goes in. If you guys are just feeding things in at a slower rate, then they have this smaller feed chute, which is a circular, maybe 1.5 inches or so in diameter, that you could just put, you know, carrots in and whatnot. And as the produce goes into here, it then runs into this auger. And this is a GE Ultim auger, 8 times harder than plastic previously used on slow juicers. And how this works is basically as the produce comes in, this auger just comes around and just basically chops it up, you know, for lack of a better word. It just chops off pieces. The pieces are forced down this auger where the space is smaller and smaller, and it just literally chews and grinds up the produce, and to the point where the juice comes out, and then this auger is inside this screen here. And so what happens is the juice comes out the front of the screen, the pulp continues out the bottom, out this little hole here, which then comes out the pulp ejection port here. And this is the juicing screen here. There's lots of screen area, which is a good opportunity for the juice to come out of the screen on one hand. On the other hand, it also means there's going to be a lot more area for you guys to clean when you're done juicing. Now they do have this part here, which is actually called the automatic wiping blade. It has these silicone wiping blades. They kind of like work like the windshield wipers on your car that basically spin around this juicing screen to help keep this wiped down, keep the juices flowing out, and maybe keep the screen a tad cleaner than without it. And then finally you have the juicing bowl, and all these parts you'll have to clean when you're done juicing. The hardest part to clean on this juicer is the juicing screen, where the holes will get impacted with pulp, and you will have to clean that, although Kuvings does provide 3 cleaning brushes to make it a lot easier. And then here is the main juicing bowl. I like that this juicing bowl, there's very little nooks and crannies. There's one little gear here that you will have to clean. And there's no flaps in the bottom of this bowl. And let's see, you could close the juice flaps to do mixing in the bowl if you so choose. I don't like to do that because I believe it reduces your yields by a little bit. And then the pulp comes out here. And then you just basically have your motor base, once again running at 60 revolutions per minute, nice and solid. Now this is the Kuvings Premium Slow Juicer. They got basically a leather-like look. Now don't worry, no animals were killed to make this Kuvings juicer if you are vegan. They basically just have like a leather pattern, but it's 100% plastic, all right? But a much nicer quality and feel than some of their other machines that are still good, but this is their premium model, all right? So assembly on this machine is super easy. You're going to take the juicing bowl. There's a little red dot that's going to basically face straight forward. Drop that in place. Then you're going to take your wiping blade. You're going to take your juicing screen. You're going to just push this in until this seats in place. You're going to take the red dot there with the red dot on the front of the bowl here and line those up. And then this is going to drop into place. You're then going to go ahead and take your auger and you're going to push that right down the middle. And you may have to spin this and turn as you're pushing down. It'll basically seat all the way down. If you've done that correct, you can then take your top with a little red dot here, line that up with a red dot on the top of the bowl, like so, and then you're going to turn the little arrow at the back to close, and then you will be all set up and ready to juice. If you've assembled it correctly, the machine turns on, it runs at a low and slow 60 RPM, so it's actually fairly quiet. If you didn't assemble it correctly, like it's ajar now, the top is ajar, so it's not making the special safety switch, then the machine will not come on. And that's that. You know, it's fairly simple, fairly easy to use. And the Green Star Pro, a little bit more complex, a few more parts, but easy nonetheless. And all these juicers, they may be intimidating at first because like you never assembled a juicer and you don't know how to do it. That's all right. You could always rewind my videos to watch the assembly process a couple 5 times and just go over it step by step. You'll learn it once and you'll do it twice and 3 times. And pretty much just like me, you could actually juice blindfolded, which actually I did in a video once. Check the link down below. When I juice blindfolded for, you know, a customer that might have a, you know, vision loss or low sight. And so because I know these so well, because I use them in and out every day, all right? So the Green Star Pro here, you got this basically top covering piece that basically just has your funnel that you will have to wash when you're done, but the rest of the part basically will stay pretty clean. Oh, and let's go ahead and compare that. So the feed chute here with the Kuvings closed is a circle, and on the Green Star Pro it's square. So if I kind of put these on top of each other, actually the square has a little bit more space than the circle, because the circle is the same diameter as the square, but the square has the little corners that make it a little bit more. But, you know, if you then open this up here little tab. Now you have basically 3.2 inches here of feed chute. So you could put whole handfuls of greens and just drop it down in there. You could put whole apples, whole pieces of beets, and just drop it down in, you know, to juice up. In which case, this now has a larger feed chute, which can save you guys some time. But as you will learn, certain produce items should be pre-cut in this machine, such as celery and leafy greens, which they do not have to be pre-cut in this machine over here. Because if you don't pre-cut in any vertical slow juicer, then the strings and the fibrous you know, stalks of the leafy greens can clog the juicer and cause you big problems with the disassembly, putting additional pulp in your juice, and not making a good yield. All right. So that's the feed chutes. Next, we have two little latch arms that clip off nice and easily. Now, this machine I like because it actually is BPA free. This is actually made out of the nylon material, and it has 100% stainless steel gears, whereas this one, you know, from what I hear, may contain some BPA in some of the parts being used, although it may be negligible, if any, is even detected, right? Oh, this is from my opinions and based on research I've seen, all right? First part coming out is basically this end cap, and this is basically where the juice will come out and then flow out this bottom here. And then in the front, you have this little contraption with a little spring and a tensioner. And so what this does, this is a lot of tension on this, and it takes a little bit of strength. I can't even push back one finger barely. So basically what happens is this little spring tensioner will keep pressure on the pulp, keep it inside the machine, and only let it out when it's fully dry. For this reason, you know, on many produce items, this machine is going to yield more than this because the Kuvings basically has a flow-through design. It has no kind of flap or no kind of system to keep the pulp inside to make sure it's drier. You know, the faster you put it in, the faster the pulp's going to flow out. You know, so you won't want to slow down when juicing and let the machine fully go through the cycle to get the pulp out, in which case, if they've designed it properly, the pulp should be fairly dry, all right? That being said, this is also adjustable, so you don't have to screw it all the way in. So if you're juicing something like fruits, you're going to unscrew it almost all the way. And if you want to juice fruits in this machine, check the link down below for a video I made on how to juice fruits, in my opinion, in the Green Star Pro the best way possible. So we're always going to keep that screwed in tight all the way so we get the highest yield unless we're juicing something really soft. Next, we have the screen coming right out. So this screen, you know, is a lot smaller. So on one level, you know, it's a lot easier to clean the screen on the Green Star Pro than the Kuvings because there's a lot more screen area on the Kuvings all the way around than the Green Star Pro. Looks like the screen hole sizes actually are fairly similar on both. It'd be interesting to take this screen and kind of unroll it. Maybe it might be similar to the volume of holes on this machine. But, you know, on this machine, the screen is easier to clean because you could kind of get in with your hand, get in with the cleaning brush on the outside and the inside, or vice versa. And on this screen, you could easily clean the outside, but then getting into the inside, you know, is a little more difficult. Tribest does supply you with a special cleaning brush so you guys can get in there, as well as a scraping tool that you should use to scrape off the screen on the outside and the inside before brushing. This will definitely save you guys some time cleaning. Now, the part I like the most about the Green Star Pro are these guys. These are some sexy stainless steel twin gears, 100% stainless steel, and I like them a lot. And basically how this machine works, unlike this guy that has the plastic auger here, this is 100% stainless steel, so this is where things are getting juiced. You're basically, these gears are rotating together. They basically have a pocket recess and cutting points. So things like celery stalks do not jam this machine up. You don't have to pre-cut celery like you should be doing in this machine. This will basically just chop up the celery for you. That's what these little teeth here are for. They will basically chop the celery strings and strings of other leafy green vegetables, including wheatgrass, so it never gets clogged, never gets stuck, so that's amazing. So this machine works on basically in 3 stages. Basically you have number 1, the grinding step. And so this one basically you have a crushing and kind of chewing, and this one does grinding. So this one is a little more efficient at basically grinding up the produce to a smaller particle size. And the smaller particle size that the juicer could get to the produce means the more nutrients are going to come out, in my opinion, like phytochemicals and phytonutrients. So this does a more efficient job at that. And so number 1, it has a grinding step where it first grinds. The second and third step is actually then a mixing and pressing step that where basically it mixes the produce and then presses it out in this second set of the gears here. over there. All right. And then finally just have another piece here, basically, which holds the gears in place and is the feed chute. So I definitely will say that on the Green Star Pro, there's definitely more nooks and crannies to clean, because you got to get in here, you got to clean this direction. They do give you a brush, of course. Probably the hardest part on the Kuvings to clean is this top piece, where you got to kind of get in here, and then there's this hinge piece in here that you got to clean a little bit. I'd probably say the Green Star Pro a little bit more complex. In addition, on the Green Star Pro, when you're done juicing, there will always be some pulp, and juice collected in this area. That's just inherently in the design and how it works. So don't be alarmed when you guys see that, and you will have to clean that off. And that's one of the caveats of the Green Star Pro. I mean, if you want the highest nutrition and highest yield in general, then you're going to want to go with this one. But be forewarned, you will have to clean it. The manufacturer advertises it as easy cleaning. I don't know that I'd go that far myself. This is what it is. I like to use this when I'm growing my own homegrown produce, and I want to get the highest quality and the most juice out. But otherwise, honestly, this sits on my counter. But, depends on how motivated you are. If you're motivated, you want to get the highest quality juice, and you're going to use it, and you don't really mind cleaning like I don't, like I do, then this is great. So, on the assembly of the Green Star Pro, it's really easy if you do it once. You're just going to take this piece. There's a little red gasket, so that's the side that's going to go back. This direction, it kind of sits in there. Then you take the two gears. On the two gears, there's some dots. There's two dots on one dot on the other. You're going to basically line them up into a triangle and insert them into the through the plastic piece. But before I do, I want to let you guys know that in these gears, there's a special Bioceramic and FAR infrared material that is said to basically enhance your juice. Maybe it pulls out more minerals while it's juicing. Maybe it structures your juice when it's pulling out. Maybe it puts properties in the juice so that it actually stays fresher longer, does not degrade over time, which actually they have done 72-hour stability studies with the twin gear juicers such as the Green Star Pro to show that there's much less nutrition loss in this machine if you do have to store your juice than with other brands. Now, I haven't seen any data comparing like a single auger to this style in storing your juices. So for that reason, if you want the highest quality juice, and you will be storing it, which I do not recommend, I recommend drinking the juice right after it's made, you're going to want to use this machine, all right? Once you got these gears together and they're lined up, then you're going to go ahead and just slide those in. You might have to rotate these around and make sure that they are fully seated. Then you're going to take the juicing screen, and that just slides on there. Then you're going to take the outlet casing, put that on, and then you're going to just clip these back in place. And finally, you're going to take the top and put it on place. And if you've assembled it correctly, then the machine should turn on. This machine seems a little bit louder than that one to me. After all, this one does run at 110 RPMs compared to the 60 RPMs. And in general, I like to say the higher RPMs, the lower the quality of the juice. But that's like if you're going from like 60 to 3,000 or 10,000, such as some of the high-speed machines, between 60 and 110, although that's almost double the RPMs of this. I wouldn't say that this nutrition is significantly less, just because this still runs at a low RPM, plus it also works in a little bit different way. Like it even breaks up the fiber and gets more nutrients out of the produce, as you'll see when I show you guys the pulp at the end of this demo. So yeah, each machine has their pros and cons. Now this machine can also do other things besides just juice. It does come with a blank plate as well as a mochi plate. So you guys basically extrude breadsticks if you guys want to. You can make nut butters, frozen fruit sorbets. And on the Kuvings has a optional, or actually an included smoothie attachment and sorbet attachment. Now this cannot make nut butters, and both these machines also should be able to make the nut milk. I do have an old video making hemp nut milk in the Green Star Pro, and I probably have a video somewhere along the ways doing nut milk in the Kuvings. That being said, if your nut milk is your first priority, then I'd actually recommend a different juicer, so be sure to check my video link down below for the video I like to use for nut milk. It just works a little bit better and easier to clean, in my opinion. Anyways, I think that's it for the intro for these machines. They work a little bit different, a little bit the same. They each have their pros and cons, and I make these videos so you guys could learn, how these machines work. So the next thing I want to do is actually we're going to go ahead and do a juice off for you. We're going to juice even amounts of spinach, carrot, and apple, or pears actually, in both these machines so you guys can see how long it takes, how it works, and we could compare how much each juicer yields. So as you guys can see, we're all set up and ready to juice, but first we got to make sure we do a weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. Once again, the spinach, the apples, and the pears. Let's go ahead and show you guys the weight on the scales to make sure we have a fair fight. Alright, you guys can see the organic spinach, pears, and carrots. Over on the Green Star Pro side, looks like we have 1292 grams. And if we go over to the Kuvings side, once again, 1292 grams, carefully weighed out. Even amounts of spinach, pears, and carrots. Looks like we have a fair fight, and let's go ahead and get ready to rumble. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the scales out of the way, and let's get juicing here. So today for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and time how long it takes. Despite having a wide feed chute, we'll see if it actually saves us a lot of time or not. Could be very interesting to see what happens actually, because it's probably going to save the most time. I think we're going to go with the Kuvings and juicing the Kuvings EVO820 first. Let's go ahead and move this over because I will have to do a little bit of pre-cutting. You know, these pears, even though they're pretty big, they're not really going to fit in because a pear is a pear shape instead of an apple. If it was round, it'd probably fit in, but that just does not fit in the feed chute, so we'll have to cut this into smaller pieces. Now, it's very important the ordering that you feed the produce into your juicer. You wouldn't want to just put all the spinach, then all the pears, and all the carrots. It's not going to work so well. You want to put a handful of spinach, a little bit of pear, a little bit of carrot, a handful of spinach, a little bit of pear, a little bit of carrot until you're done. Always want to end on a carrot for sure in any slow juicer for the best results. All right. I guess we're gonna have a cutting board here so we can actually cut the produce up as we go. We're gonna go ahead and put this. You guys can see the time elapsed as we are running right there. Maybe put this here a bit full today on the table. And so I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to use a catch cup, and we're going to measure the yield, as well as I have a sieve here to see how much pulp is being put into the juice that each juicer creates. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hit the start button, turn that on. And I think first we're just going to go ahead and put a bunch of spinach in the machine. And how I'm going to do that, we're just going to go ahead and put in the drop-down feed chute here and just drop it in. It's a little bit cumbersome to do it. We take two handfuls of spinach and put that in, and you have to play with a little feed chute thing. And as you guys can see, I'm losing spinach off the side, so this is not getting juiced because there's no funnel on the Kuvings. So I don't know if this is even the best way to do it, or maybe I should just try to put it actually in the center spout here. As you can see, some of it's getting juiced, but a lot of it is staying up at the top. This is where you'd want to use a pusher. I don't like to use pushers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut the pear up into pieces, and then we're going to drop that through the center feed chute to basically, push down some of the spinach to get it to juice here. Now what I'm going to try to do is we're going to take spinach and put it in the center hole, which I think is a little bit easier than using the little drop-down chute. In this case, I wish Kuvings actually had some kind of funnel to help funnel that in. Maybe take 3 handfuls of spinach here. I'm still dropping some spinach that's not making it in the machine. And this is what I don't like about the Kuvings. It actually doesn't have a funnel. Then we're going to go ahead and put another piece of pear in. Push that in. And then we're going to follow that with, let the machine chunk off a few pieces of carrot. And help us push in our spinach. And so this is basically the technique I'm going to use in the Kuvings. I don't want to sit here and bore you all day, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and finish juicing in the Kuvings, and we're going to come back at you. We're going to speed this up so you guys can see the process. We're going to come back at you when I'm just about done. Alright, we're just about done juicing in the Kuvings. We're going to go ahead and put in the last handful of spinach here, and then we're going to go ahead and follow that with the pear. Let the machine work on that. Now I've been having this. There is putting a lot of pulp in the juice, so if you didn't sieve out the pulp, you'd see lots of pulp in the juice, which some of you guys may or may not like. And then finally, we're going to put the carrot in. I like to put the carrot, let it chunk off a piece, and then pull it up. You can see the bite that it took off. And then maybe drop it in a little bit more, take another chew. You always want to make sure you finish with a carrot in the Kuvings. If you don't use a carrot as a last item, And then you may have a lot of leafy greens and other things that are sitting up on the top of the auger that does not get juiced. The carrot, because it's so fibrous and hard, really helps to push anything else that you were juicing through the juicer. And so you can then get the maximum yield and get, you know, I'd rather have more spinach juice than the carrot, because the spinach is a lot more costly, a lot more expensive, and a lot more nutritious in my opinion. So once you put the last item in, the Kuvings or any slow juicer, you want to let it run just a little bit more until the pulp basically stops moving and the juice stops flowing out. Because the way this is set up, I think pretty much the juice has stopped flowing. We're going to go ahead and put the stopper on, and we're just basically going to let this sit and drip, and we can go ahead and turn this off, and we can go ahead and take a look at the time. Wow, look at that, man, that's impressive. Even with the wide feed chute, it took me nearly 7 minutes to juice. Not even that much stuff, like maybe 2.5 pounds, 7 minutes. That's I don't know, not super impressive. Let's see if I'm faster in the Green Star Pro. I think the really thing that slowed me down was the smaller feed chute, and then having things drop out, and then having a lot of pulp, you know, and I had to tap this down too. Still dripping, all right? So hopefully we'll have an easier time in the Green Star Pro. Let's go ahead and put this to the side, and let's see, put this maybe over here for you guys. And we'll put this over on this side for you guys. And all right, so let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and hit the start button, turn this on, and once again, you want to put in some of the spinach first. At least on the Green Star Pro, it does have a funnel, so like things are not going to really kind of get out of place and like fall on the countertop, which is really nice. We're going to go ahead and put a couple handfuls of spinach right in the machine, get that working. While that is working, then we're going to go ahead and start cutting up some of the produce. Maybe right after all that spinach, let's just go ahead and let's put a little bit of carrot in there, get that kind of carrot working. And then we're going to go ahead and cut up the pears here into little slivers, so I can actually put these down into the feed chute little by little. So yeah, we're just rotating produce as it goes in, you know, probably put a little spinach, a little pear, a little carrot, and just keep doing that. Probably a couple handfuls of spinach, since we are juicing so much spinach this time. And I guess to save you guys some time, we're just going to go ahead and speed this up. Everything you put into the Green Star Pro, you do need to push in, and I like to use the wooden pusher myself. The gears of the juicer do run into the wood, which is fine because this is a cutting grade wood, and if it should go through the juicer and get ground down, it just comes out with pulp. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and speed this up for you guys now, and you know, come back at you when I'm just about done. Alright, so I'm just about done juicing in the Green Star Pro. You know, I think this is a little bit more efficient for me because I can just grab a handful, put it in, push it in with a pusher. It's got the funnel. Pretty easy to juice there. I'm not sure how long it's been taking because I've just been focusing on juicing. Probably should have put some pears in a little bit staggered at better times, but we're putting the pears in. And then of course we got to save a good amount of carrot to put in last to get the maximum yield out of the juicer and to help push all that softer produce through the machine. Yeah, you want to feed the juicer at a slow and moderate rate. You don't want to just try to cram things in, because once again, the faster you put things in, the faster it's going to want to come out. If you do a slower rate, that means the produce has more action time inside the augers, inside the juicing screen, to basically extract all the juice out. Once again, on the Green Star Pro, you want to put the last produce item in, make sure it's gone all the way in, and let it run just a little bit more until the pulp stops flowing out, which it looks like it's done, and the juice is still dripping. So I think we're probably good. We're gonna go ahead and hit the stop. And look at that, man, that took 6 minutes and 9 seconds. So what was that, like maybe about a minute or so faster than the wide feed chute? Amazing. All right, so that's pretty much it for the time. So let's go ahead and turn this machine off, and let's go ahead and check out and see what we got here. The first thing I want to do, we're going to go ahead and compare apples to apples, because I did sieve out the Kuvings juice, which has still been draining here. There's lots of pulp still in this in the sieve there. We're going to go ahead and shake this down a little bit. And you know, pulp can artificially inflate the juice, so the more pulp is in the juice, the more it will raise the level of the juice to make you think you got a little bit more when you actually didn't, alright? So that's the pulp there, and let's go ahead on the Green Star Pro. I like to tip this up and tip this back, make sure we get all the juice out. I'll remove the juice catch cup and simply put the pulp catch container underneath so that we don't drip on the table there. We're going to go ahead and pour this out at the same time. We're just going to go ahead and shake this down. Now this does also look like, to me, there's lots of pulp here. I think that spinach generally tends to make a lot more pulp there in the juice. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just pour this in, shake it down. We're going to come back at you when we're all ready to see how much each juicer made. Alright, so I think we're about done shaking out all the juice out of these pulps. And if I had to show you these guys, it's hard to say who made more. I could definitely say that the Green Star Pro probably made a little bit, tad bit more pulp in the juice, but not by much. So they both put pulp in the juice. But what is significantly different is the yields. Look at the yields on that. Let's go ahead and do a close-up to show you guys the yields as well as the pulp created. Alright, so coming in for a close-up over on the Kuvings EVO820 side first. Looks like there's a good foam layer on there, but looks like the juice is up to approximately maybe 625. And then over on the Green Star Pro, wow, look at that, a lot more juice. You know, fairly good foam layer, a little bit more actually than the Kuvings EVO. And then if I had to say it was somewhere, I'd say it's maybe 725. So maybe like 100 extra milliliters more of juice, so you guys could see the level comparison of that 100 milliliters more juice on the Green Star Pro. Alright, so you guys just saw that the Green Star Pro made about 100 milliliters more of juice, and then I didn't get to show you guys a pulp close up. But anyways, the Green Star Pro also made more pulp in the juice, which you guys can drink. Not a big deal should you want to. I think next what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and taste test the juice for you guys. If I could do any kind of sensory taste difference. Once again, here's the juice out of the EVO820. Tastes decent. Tastes like juice to me. Alright. Taste the juice out of the Green Star Pro. Interesting. Now I don't know if this is because it's been sitting a little bit since it's been a while since we did the Kuvings, but it's a little bit more thick on the Kuvings for some reason. Tend to be a little more thinner on the Green Star Pro. I'm not sure exactly what that's about. But both juices taste good nonetheless, and I'll be drinking that off camera as soon as I'm done here. I'll keep that on the camera there for you. Now what I want to do is compare the pulps here. So this is the pulp in the EVO820, and this is the pulp in the Green Star Pro here. My standard pulp test is grabbing the pulp and then squeezing it out. So you guys can see I'm literally squeezing the pulp out of the top. And there's a few drips of juice coming out, but you know, the Green Star Pro, that's why you're paying the big bucks for this guy. It's fairly efficient. There is very little juice left in the pulp. I'm not going to say it's sawdust dry like if you put it in a pure cold press, but it's really dry. And on the Green Star Pro, you can always take the pulp and put it back through the machine to press out more juice should you want to. Now on the Kuvings, let's go ahead and grab a whole handful of pulp here and left-handed squeeze. As you guys can see, you know, it's also just squeezing out pulp, very little juice, a couple of drops, you know, so that's actually fairly efficient as well. Now on the Kuvings, I would not recommend you taking this pulp and putting it back through, because what you'll find is that most of the pulp is just going to sit and spin up at the top of the auger and not actually get funneled in unless you kind of try to push this pulp through with a brand new carrot or something like that. So there's 100 milliliters left in difference. So what happened, I mean, I'm going to surmise that the pulp is a tad bit wetter in the Kuvings, despite I could not squeeze it out with my squeeze test. But next what I want to do is I want to show you guys actually what you have to clean in each juicer, since I know that's important to some of you guys. First we'll take apart the Kuvings on the EVO820. This part's fairly easy to clean. There's a little bit of pulp residue inside there. If we go ahead and then pull out the auger here, you guys can see on the auger, you know, there's fairly little pulp residue on the bottom of the auger. There is nothing, although there sometimes is things on the bottom of the auger, so don't be alarmed. Next, in the screen, you guys can see there's carrot and spinach residue in the bottom of the screen that's actually fairly wet, and that's just totally normal. I want you guys also to look at the screen here. It's literally carrot pulp is pressing out from the screen, and literally you're going to have to scrape that down. You know, I like to use the end of a butter knife to scrape it down, or you could use a Kuvings cleaning tool to dislodge that pulp that's literally ground in to the screen. And then finally the juicing bowl. This is easy to clean here. There's basically nothing in the bowl for the most part. You just got to get the pulp out of this right angle turn, which you could get your finger in here. It's pretty big, and they give you like a little tip that you could get of the back end of the brush. Oh, and there's a little bit more juice in there that we should get out. Just 2 drops. So not too difficult to clean. I would estimate this takes me about between 4 to 5 minutes to clean. And then over on the Green Star Pro, this top piece comes off. You just have to rinse that down. Underneath here, once again, is all clean. You're going to take the 2 snaps, snap that off. This whole front housing comes out. And as you guys can see, you know, it is dripping with juice, and there is some pulp inside there. Some pulp here. You have to unscrew this piece and clean this all out. Generally, I just blast hot water through here, take a brush with some soap on it, and brush it all out. It cleans fairly easily. Next, we got the juicing screen. So the juicing screen, once again, is here. As you guys can see, the pulp is really impacted and stuck into the screen holes. Not as bad as on the Kuvings by any means. You guys can see, I mean, there is some pulp. Maybe that's because of the wiping blade, just due to the design overall. But you guys can see really there's lots of pulp in there. So that's not too difficult to clean out. You know, you're going to use a tri-best scraping tool to scrape that down outside and in, and then brush it down. Not going to be too difficult. What screen do I, you know, don't like to clean more? That's a toss-up. To me, these are about the same to clean, despite being a little bit different in shape. And then finally, we have this piece right here. Now, the white pieces on this tri-best Green Star Pro, especially when juicing carrots and other richly pigmented foods that are really nutritious for you, the white can tend to stain. So the biggest tip I could give you guys is right when you're done juicing, wash this off with soap and water. Don't just use water. Water is not going to get some of the stains out. Soap and water, if you guys want to keep it, you know, nice and white and clean like I do, because I got to make videos for you guys. But if you don't really care, then yeah, use some water. Don't, you know, let it sit for 5 hours before you clean it. Then the stains are going to be ground in, right? So clean it right after you're done. And once again, the stains are only cosmetic, not going to affect anything. So yeah, some nooks and crannies. I basically just blast hot water through here, have a soap on a you know, dish brush, and just brush all this out. Brush is clean. And then the final part to clean on the Green Star Pro is this area right here, right? You guys can see there's like pulp stuck on here. And I mean, that's just how this design works. You know, I usually just, you know, brush this off, have a little spray bottle with water, and you can just spray it off. It'll just clean up really easily. So that's pretty much it. So at the end of this episode, what did we learn? Well, I learned that I made a big mess, and I got to do about at least 10 minutes of cleaning between both these machines. This machine will probably take about 5 minutes to clean also, 4 to 5 minutes, you know, depending on how, you know, how intricate I want to get into and getting all the carrot juice stains off the white pit color. You know, that's why I like the machine on the Kuvings, a bit darker. Not going to show stains as much if you want to keep it nice and new looking. Alright, so cleaning time, it's about a wash. But what did we learn, you know, and who am I going to declare the winner of this juice off? Despite the higher price, despite having a longer 5-year warranty, you know, it also made 100 milliliters extra of juice, which means more nutrition in your stomach than being wasted in the pulp that did not get expelled. It also took 1 minute less in time, right? So for me personally, if I had to choose between these two machines, hands down, I'm going to choose the Green Star Pro. The cleaning about the same, although there's some more nooks and crannies. You know, generally I'm not a person that juices lots of apples, and if you are juicing apples or large fruits, you can just drop in this, you know, feed chute that's really big that you can use actually the drop down thing, then that probably will be worth it to get this machine. But for what I juice and how I juice lots of leafy greens and vegetables, the Green Star Pro is the one that I liked overall. Once again, each juicer has their pros and cons. Be sure to check my other videos where I go into detail about juicing other things in the Green Star Pro, and I have other videos on the EVO. I'll put links down below to some videos on the juice on the Green Star Pro and the EVO. Dedicated videos about those specifically, where I go more into detail about each of them, so you get to learn, you know, if those are maybe the right machines for you. So hope this was of value to you guys. If you guys like this episode, please support me in my work. by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share this video on social media so this can get more views and more people can be aware of how these machines work when juicing this specific recipe. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new appliance, what new juicer I'll be testing or comparing. And make sure to click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel, dedicated to sharing and contrasting, comparing all the different major brand juicers so that you guys don't have to. And you guys can get the right juice for the first time and be a juicer for life like I want you guys to be. So with that, my name is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.